Hello, Aries, and welcome to your January 2024 tarot readings. And because these readings are late, because of my health stuff, I will be kind of carrying this energy into February, even though I do plan on still doing February readings as normal. We're going to carry this out just a little bit longer than just the January mark. So let's go ahead and get started, Aries, with a card for my intuitive deck, just to see what comes through here. Okay, I'm kind of seeing, the words that are coming to my mind is dragging your feet. Not that you're not doing anything. It's probably you are doing a lot of things, keeping busy, but it may not be the things that really need to get done or the things that are truly important for the goals that you have. It's going to be important for Aries to make sure that their priorities are really clear, that you know if that's the future you want, then these are the steps you have to take. And if those are the steps you have to take, then these are the tasks that need to be completed. And to be focusing more in that direction rather than getting all caught up in the circular kind of nonstop motion of everyday life, because I feel like everyday life could swallow you whole over the next couple of months if you don't make sure that you are properly focused. Okay, and to make sure that you're not, because I'm kind of sensing maybe procrastination. I don't want to say go so far as all that, but that's kind of the word that I'm leaning toward. You might be procrastinating on the truly important things. And maybe it's because you know it's important, but it's not important right now. It's not important today. Maybe it doesn't have to do with your survival, right? Maybe it doesn't have to do with you paying your bills or whatever the case is. So maybe you're kind of putting it off a little bit. But I would say that behavior is worth taking a look at within yourself and saying, why am I dragging my feet? Why am I keeping my head down? Why aren't I rushing to the finish line with this thing that I tell myself I truly want? So I'm kind of seeing a little avoidance, but I don't see it being so problematic, but I do think it's going to be something that you may have to confront a little bit within yourself and kind of deal with and work your way through. And I will tell you the absolute best way to work your way through things, especially with Mars and Capricorn, right? Your ruling planet is exalted in Capricorn. I really, really like this Mars placement, not just for everybody, but especially for you. Because it is paced, it is organized, it is structured, it's not impulsive, and it's also not a time for us to be overwhelmed. It's a time to just trek forward, one foot in front of the other with no resistance, okay? So from the Moonology deck, what does Aries need to know for January? The energy is gaining momentum. Beautiful. I love that. It's gaining momentum if you're actually pushing. Okay? If you start to take these steps that might be a little bit scary, might be a little hard, it might be, a little bit of upfront work initially, but if you start taking those steps now, that momentum, you will gain momentum. There is no doubt about it. And you will start to see results sooner rather than later. And I think you know that. I don't think that's a surprise, all right? I don't think it's too delusional to be thinking that. I think if you were to say, yeah, if I did that, then yeah, I'd have that result. It's just a matter of doing it. But I do think the energy is kind of pushing you a lot, and especially with Pluto coming into Aquarius this month. We've already had a little taste of that through 2023, and as it comes into 2024, we're going to have much more Pluto in Aquarius, even though he will dip back into Capricorn for a couple months near the end of the year. But for the most part, he will be in Aquarius. And I think that new frontier, that new landscape, that new unexplored territory, it's calling our name. It's pulling us, and we don't really have a lot of control over that. So this new future of yours, and drag your feet all you want, but you're going to get dragged into it regardless. So you may as well do it with a little bit of control and a little bit of say-so and a little bit of structure in order to ensure that you succeed when that happens. Okay? So let's start with 3 cards for the, okay. I'm really seeing a disconnection from the past. I'm seeing you turning your back on the past, seeing you detach, seeing you, I don't know, it's like you're not looking back. You know, like Pluto coming into Aquarius, it is a new chapter. It is a time for revolution and change. And I will say, not only is it Pluto in Aquarius, but over the next several months, not just January and February, but even on into April, May, and June, Jupiter is going to be coming in contact with Uranus and then eventually moving into Gemini. So this movement of Jupiter plus Pluto is really putting us in this inventive, futuristic, looking beyond type of place and really craving change. You know, especially if you have been in a place where you felt firmly planted and maybe not in a good way. You know, that urge, even maybe a sense of urgency to detach from that, it's going to be stronger. And with the Strength card, it feels like you are going to need to exhibit strength, meaning you may need to do some hard things, have some, make some hard decisions, as we see with the Queen of Swords. Have some harsh talks either with yourself or with other people. You're going to have some real conversations that are, truthful and honest. And you're going to have to be as authentic as you possibly can. That seems to be a theme with the signs so far this month, is like this authenticity. It's being demanded. The Queen of Swords, I'm not saying there's any kind of a rush. I don't see speed with any of this. Queen of Swords takes her time to deliberate when she's making choices in her life. She does tend to weigh options and look at the evidence and look at the best possible scenario before making decisions. And I think that's okay, just so long as you don't get caught in that analysis paralysis where you just think and think and think and think and there's no action. Because I will tell you that Mars in an earth sign like Capricorn, where it is right now, it is the most action-oriented time. And I know we often say, Aries is the impulsive, fire sign is action. But actually, I see much more inspiration coming from fire signs and more action coming from earth signs. And it's important in the manifestation cycle, right? We need to understand that there's a time for inspiration and impulse. There's a time for desire and dreaming. And then there's a time for implementation. And right now we're in a moment, between January and February, we're in this moment of implementation because of the Mars placement. And also Mercury and Venus will eventually make their way into Capricorn as well. So it's just, it's a good, plus also Jupiter in Taurus. So, we want to make sure that we are getting in the trenches and we have our hands in the clay and we're actually molding things and making things come to life. So decisions, thinking things through, making really big choices, having the courage to make those big choices can certainly be a challenge. Beautiful. The sun, very center of this is what I mean by authenticity. Everything is coming from this place of purity, like your creativity, your inner self, your soul's ambitions, they're not going to be very ambiguous right now. It's probably pretty clear what you want in life, at least in a big way. You may not know exactly how to get there, but in terms of what you want financially, what you want in terms of partnerships and friendships, and what you want spiritually, and what kind of lifestyle you want, all those things are probably pretty what you want, and that seems to be what's driving everything. And if there is a circumstance in your life that is not conducive to that life that you want to lead, you are going to have to make decisions this month. And this is a good month to make those decisions. Okay? I would say that once we get into Pisces season at the end of February, we may not have as much clarity. Okay? Because through Pisces and through Aries, I think there's a lot of, well, we have the dreaming of Pisces, and then we have the kind of like, where is your spirit leading you? But there's not always so much direction during that time. We tend to have a lot more direction during this time. Sagittarius, well, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius. There's a little bit more sense of like, if I want to get to point B and I'm at point A, I know that I have to go through these steps, and it seems pretty clear. Even if we don't want to do it, we at least know. And see, the thing I love about the Page of Swords is that there's an enthusiasm with everything. Enthusiasm for the future and not looking back. Because the Six of Cups reverse, it does feel like the past feels really far in the past. And we're not trying to repeat the cycles. We're not trying to bring the new patterns back. We're not trying to relive the same things we've already lived. And we know that if we don't want to do that, then our behavior and our placement and our thought patterns and all those things kind of need to change. And I see Aries embracing that and being very excited about that notion that you fundamentally are changing as a human being. If your mind changes, you start taking different actions, you get different results, then the old identities tend to melt away and the new ones tend to blossom. And I look at this Six of Swords reverse and I say, you know what? You're not in a rush. This is not some huge, massive spiritual evolutionary journey that we're going through right now. You know, you may be healing and doing, whatever you need to do. I'm not discounting that kind of work. It's beautiful work. It's lovely. And sometimes it's really essential. But I also don't want you to lose sight of the power of everyday tasks. And I mean, I don't know that you need to have all this self-awareness. I mean, self-awareness is a good thing, but you don't need it to get you where you're going. Have you ever met someone who has what you want, right? Like, let's use money as just an example, right? Finance bro, Wall Street, New York, right? 26 years old, that kind of thing. How much self-awareness does that person need to have to be making millions of dollars a year? Not a lot. He just needs to know what he's doing, right? You know what you're doing, and that's enough to know what you're doing. And the more and more you know what you're doing and the more you know what to do, the more this energy is going to gain momentum and the more results you're going to start to see. This is coming from a pure place. It doesn't feel convoluted. It doesn't feel egoic. It feels like your soul is really guiding you, and there's no reason to doubt and question yourself right now, Aries. See, even High Priestess. I love that. Priestess, Five of Cups. Kind of sensing that you're feeling kind of bad about something. Now, this could be a past failure. It could be a past, just something that maybe you're really struggling with the idea of moving away from. Now, here we talked a lot about moving away from the past, but there does seem to still be something you're clinging on to. I don't think you want to. You don't want to be in this. Now, this can be a lot of different things. There can be actual sorrow and grief. So if you have gone through a significant loss, especially with Saturn in the 12th house for you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if you did go through something quite challenging there. So it could be a loss. There can also be regrets that happen here with the Five of Cups. Sometimes we can really beat ourselves up for things that we've done when this card comes out. It is, though, an attachment to the past. So a detachment up here, but an attachment here. So there's somewhat of a contradiction. But perhaps maybe the point of this kind of sadness thing here is to help you to look forward, because that's the point of this, right? We have 2 cups still standing upright, 2 cups that are still full. We don't need to pout over the things that we lost, or like the money that was lost, or the opportunity that was gone, or our youth that was gone, right? Some people, like, we get older, we're like, oh, I totally wasted my years. What am I doing? Now I'm too old, right? We pout. And maybe there is a little bit of a pout going on, maybe internally, maybe it's not for the world to see, but maybe that tendency is there, and maybe that's why you're kind of dragging your feet a little bit and feeling that resistance to take the steps that are needed. But also, maybe there is something deeper and psychological going on. I know I'm contradicting myself. I just said you don't need self-awareness, but maybe there is, with that high priestess, something being revealed to you that could actually end up being, I love the high priestess with the hanged man both, because they kind of, in their own way, bring things to consciousness. The hanged man, slowly we start to understand. Slowly we start to have that higher wisdom, and we start to understand the context, and our perspective tends to shift and change. Whereas the high priestess kind of illuminates things that are going on in our subconscious that says, oh, now I understand why that happened, or now I understand why I ended up in this place. But neither one of these is intended to keep you in that state of analysis paralysis, right? That's not the point of these. The point is to liberate you from that. The point is to free you from your attachment to the past so that you can live the future and the life that you've been seeking to create, to attract the love and the money and the career and the friendships and the freedom and the lifestyle that you ultimately want. So there is something beautiful shifting for Aries, but it does require you to take the steps. I think the Strength card is coming out really heavy hitting for me. It's been coming out. This is not the most common card in my readings. Once in a while, I get like a theme, and I think Strength is the theme for the January readings, is having that strength and courage to stay the course. Being brave enough to live in that disciplined, structured kind of way, and not running away from the responsibilities and not running away from the things that are required. Because as much as I love manifestation and law of attraction, all these beautiful things, and it is wonderful, I'm not discounting the teachings in any way, shape, or form, but we also need to know when it's time to take that inspired action at the same time. And this is that moment to make the choices and to get everything going, okay? So we're going to pull out the clarifying cards now, and we're going to continue on with the reading. So the cards I'm about to pull out, we cover in the comprehensive readings, and the information on how to access that is in the description box and comment thread down below. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome to do so. So let's go ahead and get started with the Six of Cups, clarifying the Six of Cups. Just so you know, we do tend to talk 25 to 30 minutes extra about all these cards, so it's kind of like a whole second half of the reading. So the Knight of Swords, I love it. Knight of Coins and the Fool. It's definitely fresh start energy. The Emperor. Hierophant reversed. Certainly not a time for pride. And the World. Big major arcana coming out for that Queen of Swords. Two of Swords. Ace of Wands and a King of Coins. Two of Wands. Temperance. Nine of Cups. Well, there's the work right there. 10 of Wands with the Empress reversed. This is not receptive time. It's not a time for us to sit and be receptive. King of Swords reversed. Or even think about it all that much. 7 of Swords. Another Page of Swords. 6 of Wands. Eight of Cups reversed, the Wheel of Fortune, Nine of Coins, Three of Wands, Nine of Wands, Ace of Coins, the Magician, Queen of Cups, and a Hanged Man reversed. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. Thank you all so much. Have an amazing January, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.